Hello people, and welcome back to another episode of City Skylines Modular Builds. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. And you guys really enjoyed the modern modular farm build which we worked on last time out, and hopefully you managed to implement it okay with no trouble. Now we had some nice feedback on this. People said maybe placing in a water tower instead of the old windmill, which would look really nice. Feel free to go ahead and do that. And yeah, have a read through the comments of the episode and see people's suggestions and ideas on how you can expand this. And yeah, really happy that you guys enjoyed that as much as you did. But today it is finally time to have a look at the new Sunset Harbour Transport Hub modular build that we've talked about for a little while, and it's time to go ahead and get stuck in. So the way I'm going to place this, I'm just going to, so we have our kind of mock downtown here. Obviously you guys know that this map is not functional. So you know, we're just going to kind of work on the edge of our downtown here, where we built our downtown plaza. This was quite a long time ago that we built this modular build now, but you guys really enjoyed it nonetheless anyway. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw out a roundabout like this, so you guys can just kind of start this and then connect it to any existing road network that you already have. It really is kind of up to you where and how you implement this into your city, but we will mention a few things along the way that will help it function a little better and also increase the numbers. Okay, so I just have a roundabout right here that is on the edge of my downtown, and this is where we're going to start from. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my large roads, and we're going to grab a 6-lane road with decorative trees. Again, you can use any road that you want for this, but you know, the 6-lane roads with the trees, you know, they're quite a grandiose road, so I think they're going to fit in really nicely. And then all of our snapping is on. And from the very top point, or I guess any point that you want to extend out from this initial roundabout, we're going to come out by a cost of 2,000, which is 20 tiles. So you're going to come out just like that, nice and easy. We're then going to jump into our public transport, and we're going to come into our new public transport hubs tab, and we're going to go ahead and grab the train metro hub, and then we're going to snap this thing right onto the edge of it, just about that. There you go. So this thing is a pretty expensive building. It is 100,000 to place with a 1,600 upkeep cost per week. So it's a pretty expensive building. So if you are playing with the kind of survival mechanic active within the game, you'll have to progress. I think it's 17,000 or maybe 24,000 milestone you unlock this building. But either way, when you get there, maybe you can try this out. Okay. So we have that about there right now. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come back to that 6-lane decorative road. And we're just going to come out by a distance of 500. And then we're going to grab our intersections, grab a small roundabout, and then snap this guy onto the end, just like that. And then I'm going to upgrade my roads here back into 6-lane. I'm going to upgrade this to 6-lane as well. And then I'm going to upgrade this one to our 4-lane with decorative grass, and then this one I'm just going to delete. Now what you put at this end of the roundabout is entirely up to you. I've just drawn in kind of a mock highway connection, so this would be a good place to kind of introduce another highway connection for your downtown, and just to make sure that our roundabout stays the same shape. I'm sure you guys know about this already, but we'll go over it for those that don't. If you're playing with that Move It and you draw your roundabout off, you'll know that it will deform and go all kinds of horrible shapes, which is not what we want. So we're going to grab a small lane, just a regular 2-lane road, and we're just going to draw a plus symbol within the middle like this. Nice and simple. And then grab some highway roads. You can either use the highway ramp or 2-lane highway for this. And then just draw some roads out. Probably like that. Now, this part of the build isn't kind of, you know, part of it, if that makes sense. I'm just showing an example of how you could hook this into a highway network. It's going to make it nice for your downtown, basically. So I'm just going to hook this in very roughly. This is an awful looking highway, I'm sure you'll agree. And then just hook him in like that. So now my downtown has a dedicated highway entrance and exit. You could also throw in one of the 3-way intersections here if you like. Hook this guy in from the roundabout at the top, and then continue your highway off in that direction. and in that direction. Really is up to you what you want to put at this end of the roundabout. Feel free to kind of carry on your downtown, and then once you've finished, don't forget just to delete the plus symbol within the middle like that. Okay? Wonderful. So let's go ahead now and grab our 4-lane road again. I'm just going to delete that one because we actually need to measure it out, so don't worry about upgrading it straight away. Then we're going to bring this guy out by a cost of 700, which is 10 tiles to start like that. Alright. Then we're going to bring him all the way down to a cost of 1470 or 21 tiles. So he's going to snap in perfectly with the road guideline for the railway here. Okay. And then what I did with the other side of this roundabout was I just hooked it back into my downtown network. So say for example, you know, I already had some kind of pretend housing over here or whatever's on this side of your transport hub. Just hook it in with a road so people can access this thing from all directions. Alright. Now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our small roads and we're going to go ahead and take a 2-lane one-way road. And then from this point here at the end of the 4-lane with decorative grass, we're going to come out by a cost of 280, which will take us to about there. Okay. Then we're going to come down by a cost of 160. So we're going to keep our one-way system flowing here. Okay. Then after we've placed that, we're going to switch to our 2-lane road with trees. And we're going to draw out from here by a distance of 1200, which will take us down to a measurement of 20 tiles. Now the reason that we're switching road types here is because we want to generate this pedestrian crossing. If this was all the same grass road, we wouldn't get those pedestrian crossings. So by switching the road type halfway through, we're going to generate ourselves a pedestrian crossing like that. Okay? Then we're going to go ahead and grab our 2-lane one-way road again. Then we're going to come out by a measurement of 160. Okay, so kind of from the bird's eye view, you'll have something that looks a little bit like that right now. Okay, then we're going to grab our transport stuff, come back into our transport hub tab. Now I'm going to place in the bus intercity bus hub. I'm going to place this with 3 tiles free on that right hand side like that. So right here, where we're placing it, we want, so that'll be 1 tile, 2, and 3. Place that in like that. So this is obviously one of the new Sunset Harbour bus hubs that comes with us. And this thing will accept your regular bus lines, and also intercity buses will arrive at this depot as well and bring people from outside of your map, which is always nice. Okay, then we're just going to complete this one-way system. I'm going to come back and grab my 2-lane one-way road, and we're just going to draw this guy around the back and then hook him in. So obviously, depending what hand side your road is on, you would just alternate this the opposite way. You know, if you're left-hand drive, it would flow that way. If you're right-hand drive, it would flow that way. So just mirror that for whatever hand drive you are actually playing on within your city. So those are our 2 kind of main transport buildings hooked in, and it's going to be nice to kind of see these things taking trains and metro. So we'll kind of discuss how I thought it was nice to kind of hook these into the rest of your transport network. So I have a train line here that's kind of serving our low density neighbourhood that we've got going on, that we built many moons ago. And you know, I've got a train station here, and it's also hooked into my external national rail line, which is over here. So that's quite cute. Then I'm going to bring this guy down. So I have my train on this side and my metro on this side. Obviously, if it's more convenient for you to flip them, then just rotate the asset around. Depends which side you want either one of these on. Okay, so now we're going to hook the train line in. So grab your train tracks, and you can see we can snap from this node point here. And we're going to come all the way down by a distance of 1200, which is 20 tiles. Now it's going to be really nice to kind of see the trains arriving into the transport hub alongside the road. It's going to look really cool when we come to kind of detailing this thing up. Okay, then grab your curve track tool and then hook in to whatever you have. Now if your train lines don't curve off to the right hand side here like mine do, then you can either elevate this bridge to flow over the roundabout, or you can turn it into a tunnel. You know, this bit here kind of really depends on what is on this side of the transport hub. Everyone's will be different. Then go ahead and grab our new fancy overground metro tracks, and we're going to do the same thing here. So I'm going to come down with my straight road tool by a distance of 20 tiles, but this time the cost is 1600 because obviously our metro tracks are slightly more expensive. And then grab your curve road tool, and I've got another metro line here ready to go. And then at this point here in my kind of pretend modular build city, I then change into elevated metro, and he proceeds throughout the rest of my own transport network. But again, after kind of this node point here, everyone's will be different. Feel free to sink this under a tunnel, bring it into a bridge over your roads. You know, it will be different whatever kind of map you're playing on, however your city looks. And then at the opposite end of my metro track here, I'm just going to come out up to this snap node here, which is a difference of 640, and then I might just want to sink that into the ground with a tunnel just by hitting your page down key to bring that into a tunnel. And then you could then take that off into another direction, or again, if you wanted to kind of elevate it, you could do the same thing here. You know, just kind of fit that into the rest of your transport network. Or if you wanted to, you could just have your metro line end here. This could be the end of the line. You know, everyone's city will be different, so just factor that in as best you can. Then same thing again with our train line. I'm going to bring him out up to this snap node, same as that one. And then just for kind of symmetrical purposes, I'm going to turn him into a tunnel, and then he's going to head off underground and into over there somewhere. You know, these little parts of the build will be entirely up to you as to how you fit them into your city. Okay, so for right now, you'll be having something that looks a little bit like this. Okay, so now we're going to work on some pathways. So come over to your landscaping tab and hop into paths. Now any pathway will work for this, it really is up to you. The pathways don't make a bit of difference. Of course, we are going to use the legendary zoo path with decorations, and the only reason for this is because the elevated zoo path, as you can see, looks really nice. It's nice and modern. It's got this kind of like hanging grass and moss from it. It's just a nice bright looking path. So I'm going to use this one from the Park Life DLC, but you know, you can just use the regular pavement paths that come with the base game. It really is up to you. Okay. So I'm going to turn off all my snapping now, besides the grid. We want to keep grid snapping on and angle. Okay. Now you'll notice where these 6-lane roads end, we have a pedestrian crossing because it transitions into the 4-lane road that comes integrated with the train and metro hub. So that's fine. So then from this very last tile where we can place, so if we were to place here, we can see that we intersect with the hub, so we can't place there. So let's come over to the next tile. And then we're going to drag the road all the way down, back to the ground, at a cost of 124. And that's just going to give us a nice smooth climb up into our path network that's going to link everything together and make our city more walkable, which is good for everybody. Okay, so then from this point here, the highest point that we just left off, I'm going to click and drag that again, and then bring him over to this side at a cost of 106. And you can see, if we'd have drawn this road over a tile more, we wouldn't have had this free tile by the side to get the path in. So it's important that the measurements between these roads here are correct, otherwise you won't have this one tile space to draw a path through. And then we're going to come down again, all the way down on the other side by a cost of 124 again, and that's going to give us a nice symmetrical bridge over the top. So now you can see the reason why we changed the road type here to generate that pedestrian crossing, so they can actually cross over the road as soon as they get off the path. Again, it's all about making our city a little more walkable. And then we're going to kind of duplicate this on the other side now. So I'm going to bring this guy over by 106, and then I'm going to draw down to the same point all the way over there. Alright. Hopefully that's nice and easy to follow. We're going to have these kind of nice, impressive pedestrian pathways that are going to be seeing a lot of usage. You'll see as we come towards the end of the video how many people actually use these paths, which is always nice. Okay, and then obviously we don't have any transport assets on this side, but we'll kind of explain what I like to do with these vast empty spaces that we have either side of the transport hub. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and drag out from this point again as well, and then I'm just going to bring it out kind of a little bit further away so you can see where it clips with the metro station there. Just keep bringing it out, and then as soon as you clear it, just drop it in again. And then what I like to do here is actually run the path right up alongside the metro. Just keep it going. You see, you'll find a couple of sweet spots as you go over kind of your roundabout, and then I'm going to bring him back down into the downtown. So again, kind of this pathway might be different depending how close your buildings are, but it's going to give you a really nice elevated pathway. It's going to add a nice, another layer to your city in terms of the verticality of it. And you're going to see lots of people kind of walking over this bridge to get to the transport hub. Because you have to bear in mind, if you're using these high-speed roads for the roundabouts, the two-way highways with sound barriers, cims can't walk on these, so they're going to need a path to get over. So this is going to serve them perfectly. It looks pretty nice as well. And then from this point right here, I'm just going to draw this guy into this side of the downtown over here where I have a bunch of high-density residential. Again, don't forget this map isn't functional, it's just to meet kind of population demand. And then that's going to kind of complete the first set of paths that we have on this side of the transport hub. So they have access to both sides of the road. There's pedestrian crossings right here. There's one right here. This takes them back into kind of the main downtown. And there's a path at pedestrian crossings right here as well. So straight away we've just made our city a lot more walkable, which is good news for everyone. And then we're going to repeat the same thing on this side. So again, remember, come up by 3. Remember, if we tried to draw here, we would intersect. So this guy's going to come down. And then by distance, 1, 2, 2. Draw him over this side. So what we're doing right now is we're just repeating exactly what we did on this side. So I'm going to draw him over again by distance of 104. And then down by 102. Okay? If you wanted to, you could also bring it down this side too. It's up to you kind of how symmetrical that how symmetrical you want to go. And it also kind of dictates what else you want to place around this transport hub as well. So again, I'm going to bring him out like this. And then I know that I'm going to have a road on this side as well. So I'll just bring him down in preparation for that. Okay. So straight away, we're already helping our sims cross the road. Rather than having them walk all the way around, we're just going to have them arrive by a bridge. Again, any type of bridge you want to use is kind of, personal preference, but elevated zoo paths look really, really good. So now, of course, we want to actually make sure that there are transport lines running into this. So with your train line, you're just obviously going to grab your train line tool, and in kind of my mock city here, I only have one other train stop, so that's fine, but obviously within your city, your train line would continue, maybe, as far over as the coastline over here. So just, factor that into your already existing train network. And then the same again with your metro. I'm just going to go ahead and kind of place this in my very pretend, awfully put together city here. Over here. We have had a few questions recently on Modular Build saying, why does the city look like this? Everything's kind of split up into Modular Builds. So we have the tram park over here, that was the very first one. Then the green commercial park, which we worked on. Then the low density neighbourhood. The green commercial housing. The canal build is over here. And the more recent farm build. So, it's not a functional city. It's literally just a collection of very small individual builds. It is not the way to build a city. That's why you should be watching the City Skylines build guide. Shameless plug for the main series, but, okay, so now we have train and metro hooked in. And I'm going to go ahead and join some bus lines as well. So this inner city metro bus hub, it can accept our regular bus lines. However, it will also draw in inner city buses that arrive via the highway from other cities. So we're going to draw in a little bus line. So I'll start like that. And then let's say I'm going to bring my bus line out through here. I'm just going to make a pretend bus line here. Let's actually bring him up this way. And then we'll bring him back and around down into the bus hub. Okay, so that's wonderful. So let's kind of talk about these empty spaces right now. So this is kind of, you know, the meat and bones of the build is these two major transport assets that are going to attract metro, train, buses and intercity bus hub. So you're getting a lot of different methods of public transport converging here as well. If you have trams, feel free to maybe throw in a tram interchange here, where different tram lines can converge with one another. You know, if you guys want to kind of tether any other methods of public transport onto this, you have plenty of room to do it in these little spaces here. It is really up to you what you want to build in them. But what I like to do, this is a really nice opportunity to kind of get some of your unique buildings into your map. Stuff that you might otherwise not really think about placing. So I'm just going to kind of show a couple of examples of what you could do. So drawing kind of a road right up here and running it parallel with your path. Kind of hooking it in through there. That's going to give me a nice box. And maybe we could throw in like the posh mall here. Would work really nicely. You're going to see a metro running up and down this thing. That's a really nice looking important building. Let's expand that road network again. So you remember I drew my path down here. So I'm going to carry that on as well. Maybe draw it through there. Let's have a look what else we could possibly get in. So this is a really important building. So this is the servicing services offices. You gotta love the name that Paradox give these things. So no, this is a really good opportunity to get those unique buildings in that you wouldn't otherwise think of placing, because they do kind of work really nicely with the kind of important transport infrastructure that you've got here. Okay. And then also, if you guys picked up with Sunset Harbour, if you grabbed the Modern Japan pack here, this is a really nice kind of opportunity again to get some more things in, some stuff like this. So maybe we could draw a road out to here to hook our transport path in. And then let's see if we can find some nice buildings to kind of fit in here. You know, you can place a variety of different unique buildings around this thing, and what that's going to do is not only going to help increase the land value for whatever zonings you do, but it's also going to draw a lot more visitors into your transport hub because they can get to these things that attract visitors and tourists a week, which is obviously going to make you more money via your public transport. So you know, it's really up to you. Kind of some little detailing touches before we jump into a little time lapse. If you have the Industries DLC, come into your oil industry. Go ahead and grab the fence right at the end of the road. Turn off all your snapping. And then obviously, you know, this isn't very safe. No, it obviously doesn't happen, but in terms of realism, your sims could just kind of walk onto the tracks here. So it's not very, it's not ideal. If you kind of draw in the oil industry fence, kind of, you know, as far as you can up to the transport hub. No, it's quite an industrial looking fence, and then it kind of just marks off the railway away from everything else. So, you know, it's a nice little touch. It's purely aesthetic, but it looks great. You know, the oil industry fence is kind of very, you know, it looks very industrial. It's got kind of these sharp, pointy spikes along the top, so it's like, you know, don't climb over this, because it's a very dangerous area to be on the train tracks like this. Okay guys, so I'm going to go ahead and jump into a little detailing time-lapse, include a few more unique buildings, add some trees to this thing, and just kind of help bring it to life a little bit more. And then we'll come back and take a look at the final product and how well it functions. Alright guys, that is going to do it for the Sunset Harbour Transport Hub. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, a like below is always appreciated. Equally as much if you didn't enjoy it or you think this can be improved in some way, please let me know why and how down in the comments below. This thing looks great in my opinion. You know, it combines a couple of the new assets and it's a great opportunity to really include some of those unique buildings that you might otherwise struggle to kind of place within your city. And you know, you can kind of place this within your downtown sphere and connect it up to a highway like we did at the top of the roundabout. You know, that's going to really help people get to and from your city. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Hang around for the rest of the outro charge and check out some of the detailing that we did. And yeah, I'll leave it there. If you do end up using it, I would love to see some screenshots either in our Discord, which is linked below, or on Twitter, which is also linked down in the description. And yeah, look how many people are using the path as well. That's great. But yeah, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.